focus as we continue to see looting in certain parts of the country. We ask the question, what type of grassroots community leadership is needed to quell the looting and provide a sustainable way forward? To help me unpack this, I'm joined by Action SA leader Herman Mashaba and Patriotic Alliance President Gayton Mckenzie. To be a part of the conversation tonight, WhatsApp your questions and comments, 072-110-5584, or you can tweet us at Newzroom405. Gentlemen, good evening, and thank you very much for your time tonight and answering the call and coming through to be with us. Gayton, let me begin with you. There are practices clearly that are failing in our communities. When you hear the community saying, we will protect this property, this infrastructure with our life, the elephant will stand. Is this an indication of a failure of the political elite to sustain the social compact in our society?
Thanks, Thabo. Thanks for having me, and good evening to Mr. Mashaba. You know what? Nothing should be put on the community here. Everything should be put full square on the African National Congress. The community are trying their level best. We are where we are here today because of the ANC. The ANC and the opposition parties that didn't hold the ANC accountable fully.
Community, the foundation of society, being shaken right now. We know that there are various challenges to this particular instance. It's not a homogeneous situation, it's a heterogeneous situation. There are multiple factors at play. There are multiple expressions at play. There are political factions at play, as you mentioned. But we've also seen an approach by the criminal elements being allowed to come into this space. What has failed as far as leadership is concerned?
Well, you know what? I think firstly, there's three elements to this matter. Firstly, is the people is really, really hungry. You know, the person goes in the shop to grab a loaf of bread and to grab maybe a mini meal or something that's inside to grab. That's the first thing. There's three layers here. The second layer is this pure criminal and greed intent. The guys that saw like, wow, now I can go get myself a big screen TV. Now I can go get myself like a washing machine. You know, the guys that came with vehicles, that's the second one. But then there's one third one that nobody wants to speak about. And our government is not honest about the third one. There's domestic terrorism involved here. Let me explain. There is no way the military precision of which this thing has happened. Our government is embarrassed to admit it. They were caught with their pants down. These guys have done three things that the intelligence community should have picked up. Firstly, they cut our supply chain, the logistics. They cut procurement. They cut the logistics. They cut the supply chain. They cut the fuel, medicine, and food. Those are the three things that will be in short supply next week. And what these guys have done, that's the third. You first have the poor guy, then you have the criminal element that's greedy, and then you have the third one, is the one that works with military precision. And his intent will only become visible when there's no fuel, where there's no medicine, where there's no food. Then you'll see what an uprising is. What we are seeing now is just a starter. So our government are not honest. Not only have they caused this situation, they've also been hiding the truth from the community and say that they have been caught napping.
But, Mr. Mashaba, let's bring you in here. Our government has not been perfectly honest with us. Well, the South African government, the president particularly, he would like us to believe, and they always act as if they are in control and they have the solutions and they have the ideas to all the problems. Is that the reason why we have failed?
Well, thank you very much, Thabo, and good evening to Mr. Mckenzie and the listeners. I think Mr. Mckenzie has already hit the nail on the head, because I think this situation we are facing is as a result of the lies of the ANC. The whole blame, 100% of the blame has got to be put squarely on the ANC because of their factional fighting. This whole matter has got absolutely nothing to do with us as communities Majority of our South Africans are good, law-abiding citizens. They've been failed where we're sitting with 43% of unemployment today, driven by the ANC and COSATU, making our people unemployable, not giving the right type of education, giving them the 350 rand so to live on, when the president says his own ministers can't live on R1 million a year. This whole issue of the intelligence. Where was our intelligence all along? When the president actually addressed this nation on Sunday, issued Sunday morning fasting, issued a press statement requesting the president to deal with bringing the army to deal with the situation, because we don't, as a political party, have intelligence network, but we talk to people, we read the papers, we listen to you, Thabo, interviewing people on a daily basis. We see what's happening on our screens. We could see that something was brewing as a result of government's failure over the last 26 years, lying to our people that there's no way that you can lie to people for 27 years and get away with it. So they've absolutely, completely failed us. Over and above that, they open our borders for people to bring drugs into our country, to bring in counterfeit goods, expired goods. You know what, Thabo? South Africa is a dumping place of expired goods in the world. Where any country does have got counterfeit goods, they're brought into our country. People don't pay taxes. I've complained when I was the mayor of the city of Johannesburg. I've complained throughout ever since I left, including to our revenue services, to say, how are you allowing criminal syndicates to operate without having the necessary licenses, to have documentation? Why are you not providing education to our people, where you've allowed SARTU, as part of the ANC, to make 80% of public schools in the black communities dysfunctional? We are going to pay a price one day, and it has caught up with us. And unfortunately, making matters worse, we have one of the most indecisive leaders in the world. Honestly, I think I cannot understand the kind of president we've got. I mean, the last 2 days in the world, he's dealing with this case as if, someone just stole someone's car radio. We're dealing with the lives being lost. Yeah. We're dealing with businesses where people are going to lose jobs. We're dealing with a situation where the international reputation of South Africa is at risk. And now our president just comes there, reads a speech, and move on. Do
we know the stakeholders who stand to gain in this conflict? Do we know them? Can we identify them? Are we engaging them? It's taken 4 days. I mean, this is ongoing. 4 days before the military is even on the ground. I'm sure people in the world are watching us and saying, well, I mean, this is a country asleep.
Even the deployment of our armed forces is not really being properly utilized. I watched this afternoon when the army was deployed in Alexander. I mean, it's actually a shame. I think it actually demonstrates the type of training that our law enforcement agencies are receiving. You can really look at the leadership of political law enforcement agencies. These are people who are supposed to have been in jail themselves. How can really we have a society with morality? So, you know what, now you can blame the communities for going to steal fridges and television when they know that their political leaders are the biggest thieves in the world. They're supposed to be in jail with Jacob Zuma.
Let me just...
Okay, well, Gayton, take it.
Yeah, sure. Let me start right there. I want to congratulate the El Rado Park community, because we are the first community to do that. And we've given other communities courage. Like in Protea Glen now, they said, if El Rado Park can do it, we can do it. Under the leadership of the PA, there was no looting in El Rado Park. There was no looting in Reveille. All the places that we are governing, there was no looting, there was no burning. Yeah. That, I want to congratulate each and everybody in El Rado Park and the leadership of the PA that's still on the ground as we are speaking. Yeah. You've given courage to other communities. But I want to come back to what you've said.
Yeah. Come in. Just respond.
What we've done there, when the second mall was burned, we knew trouble is coming. We called all the leaders of the PA. We said, guys, we got to get a plan to make sure that nothing happens in El Rado Park and in Reveille and all the other places. We then went house to house and we didn't reach all the houses, but we reached a majority of houses where we mobilized the young people. And we said, come on, you're going to form human chains around the malls, around the businesses, and nobody's going to come in. There were 2 attempts of people trying to come and burn and loot, but they found our people there. But something interesting happened there. While we were busy mobilizing and strategizing as leaders, I was on WhatsApp, and I saw Tito Mbueni on a WhatsApp group that I'm on, showing people the scenery, the tranquility of his dam outside where he stays. I'm like, this guy is so far removed from reality. Yes, real leadership is busy preempting in order to prevent what is coming. Yeah. To show you that here, the real virus, the pandemic, is the African National Congress. Let me show you why. 500 billion, 0 arrest. Looting, 500 people have been arrested already. The people that are stealing, they learn from the best. Why is it all right when the government is stealing? We watched the Euro Cup final. People were not wearing masks. There was no COVID there. Here, we are still being locked up like we are children. So the virus, the real virus in the pandemic here, it is the African National Congress. And then I want to make you one example, which is, I would just disagree with my leader, what my fellow leader said here. He said that President Cyril Ramaphosa is not decisive. It is a mistake, Leader Mashaba. He is very decisive. He's just not, he's the most decisive leader the African National Congress has ever had. He's just decisive for his handless interest. He's not decisive for the majority of the people of the citizens. Right. He locked people up with no money, with no economic relief. This man, ESCOM is gone, SAA is gone, Zuma is in jail, ACE is out. That is decisive leadership. That is being decisive as a leader. You might, there's good decisive and there's bad decisive.
Let's get Herman to respond to that, and I need to go to KZN in a moment. We're suffering from a leadership that has a short-sighted view. I think that's what Gayton says in summary.
Yeah, absolutely. I think, Gayton, I'm happy we can agree to disagree. I think for me, honestly and truly, the current president in the country is one of the most indecisive leaders I've ever come across, not only in South Africa, in the world. Look at his Minister of Health. Someone who was charged with a huge responsibility to protect our lives. Someone who was charged with the responsibility to ensure that our health facilities are up to standard, that we've got the vaccine. Where is he right now? At home, earning 2.8 million per annum with all the VIP protection. He's on a holiday, probably planning where the next the tenders are coming from. And now you tell me, is that decisiveness? But he's got the audacity to stop people to go and buy in shops because they're not self-distancing. So what kind of leadership is this? If you look at his cabinet, look at his chairpersons of portfolios in Parliament, all the people who are corrupt, who are supposed to be in jail during many years. Yeah. And his priority is always, and he made it really very clear, his priority is the unity of the ANC ahead of the unity of South Africa.
I want us to bring it closer to what we are seeing happening right now. I know these are legacy issues that remain in the ANC. Let's talk about the policing strategy that is failing to unfold even as we speak right now in Soweto outside Maponya Mall. What do we say to that?
There's no, you see, we must not fool ourselves. The police, everything I've seen on Newzroom, the police are chilling. They're also spectators of people walking past them with goods and stuff like that. We know we have police that is really hardworking, but we also have corrupt police. And I can say this to you now. We are sitting with a huge problem here. We are sitting with a humanitarian crisis. And there's no solution coming from our government. Let me tell you quickly, with this situation, what is the humanitarian crisis we are sitting with? Forget about the people that were looting. It was wrong. But look at this. Next week, and we must guard against that. You see, and I want to say something right here. We must stop blaming white people because we are a black government. We've been in charge for 26 years. They still get people with the same trap. Mahua, the white people. The white people was blamed for apartheid.
Right.
We can't blame them again. Now, when the white people, next week, they will have fuel. They will have food. Not because of what? Because they have extra money to stash food. What will that do to black people? They'll say, oh, they're driving around with their cars. Oh, they have food in their houses. So we're sitting in a humanitarian crisis. So what I'm proposing that we need to do now, any solution that is including government will never work. We must give up on government. They were not here the past 4 days. They were not here. They were not with us. What we need to do now, we need to get the smartest and the most innovative business people around the table in this country, and them amending.
Let's leave it there, Gayton. I appreciate both you coming through tonight. Unfortunately, we are out of